My name is Raymond Charles Dickey Jr., biology major, class of 2008 from the Fort Valley State University. I'm from a small town of Roberta, Georgia, 2 traffic lights, which is about 15 miles outside of Fort Valley. Honestly, the only thing that I was worried about was basketball, music, and cars. We were academically inclined because my mom is she was a 7th grade science teacher and my dad was on the board of education. So academics was almost like a given. You knew that you had to perform academically. I actually had like a list of, I think, 10 or 15 schools that I wanted to go to. Of course, Fort Valley was on my list. University of Miami, UGA, UNC Chapel Hill, North Carolina A&T, University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Each school had a certain niche that I was looking for. I knew I wanted to go to an HBCU. I knew that I wanted to be in the show style marching band and be on the drum line. I wanted to be away from home, but just in case, an emergency happened. But then I knew the lineage that Fort Valley had. So my parents met in the 70s, both Greek. My mom's is a Delta from Fort Valley, and my dad is a member of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity. They met in the 70s. It pretty much produced 4 great kids. 2 are Clark alums, 2 are Fort Valley alums. Growing up, I really never missed a homecoming. I never missed a Fountain City Classic. They really did install the sense of going to get, your education, but not forgetting where you came from. Freshman year, I stayed in Moore Hall. I enjoyed it. That transition from high school to college, it was more so saying, okay, you're not going to have anybody here to wake you up. Nobody's going to be here to take you to school. Nobody's going to make sure that you're doing what you need to do so you can keep these scholarships. And the scholarships really helped me out at Fort Valley with, with tuition, room and board and books. So I knew that the only job that I had for right now was to make sure I kept, a certain GPA or a grade point average. With the biology department, it was a close-knit department. So the professors had an open door policy pretty much. So let's say if you were, behind on something, or you were struggling in a certain topic, you can go to their office and they will either explain it for you, set up some time aside, and just try to help you out. But also at the same time, you had to show that you wanted to do it. It wasn't just going to be on a silver platter given to you. If they saw that you really wanted to get to work and to really do the work, and that they saw potential that you could go somewhere, they would push you, harder than what you thought that you could do. So immediately after undergrad, I actually started working as a dental assistant here in Atlanta. That was when the recession happened. And then a couple of months later, because I was the lowest one in the totem pole, I was let go. And then I actually moved back to Macon, to Roberta, and I started working as a dental assistant at Northside Family Dentistry in Macon. I applied for dental school there. Had interviews to only 2 schools, Meharry again, as well as MCG. I got accepted into Meharry, and I was waitlisted at Medical College Board. One of my mentors, Fort Valley alum as well, Dr. Roderick Barton, he called me and said, dude, I need you to put your name on the alternate list for MCG, because if a spot opens, if you really want to go there, you can have that spot. I prayed on it and I put myself on the alternate list. And about a month later, I got an acceptance letter from MCG in Augusta. Dr. Williams, when I left Fort Valley, told me, when you go off to school, make sure that you're in the top 50%, not the bottom 50%. And that really stuck with me all throughout dental school. It's really stressful, a lot more stressful than what people might think. But fortunately enough, I was able to have my doctorate by the age of 25, 26. I did a general practice residency in New York. I did a program at Bronx Lebanon Hospital where I met Dr. Paul Gates, who's an oral surgeon, but a director of that department, of the dentistry department. Did that for a year. I told myself I still wanted to do surgery, so he put me in contact with Dr. King at Harlem Hospital, and I ended up matching, getting into Howard University oral and maxillofacial surgery program. So I lived in DC for 4 years, but I always knew that that wasn't the end all be all. I wanted to do something a little bit more in detail. I didn't want to get too complacent. I work at Southwest Maxillofacial Surgery and Dental Implant Center, as well as Midtown Dental Center, and I work with a corporate group called Pacific Dental Services. On a day-to-day basis, I do outpatient oral surgery, meaning instead of going to the hospital, we do all of our surgeries in our office, which is kind of like a surgery center, providing oral health care for patients who need impacted teeth taken out or infections resolved, dealing with pathology, reconstruction of the oral cavity as well as the face, doing dental implants, and also doing IV sedation. So the reason, first of all, that it's important to give back to Fort Valley is because, one, we do want to keep the institution. We don't want anybody else to try to come in and buy something out or get the land or change the name or do whatever. So we want to be able to keep the sense of Fort Valley and its core principles, Fort Valley. We also would like to have more endowments, more scholarships for these students, so we can actually get more students and draw them back into the institution. Another reason to give back into Fort Valley is that sense of pride, again, to elevate our institution to another level. The more that the alums can support and can give back, can tie into a seed for something else to blossom for our institution in the future. Now, the question is, how can you give back? We can give back with purchasing alumni brick or donating whatever you can physically, no matter, not just if it's money, but if you want to go back and give a speech, talk to people in the plant science department, the math department, the science department, show those students that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Empower the possible, brick by brick.